You can probably hear the quail in our garden. We like to watch the animals, and we saw lots of interesting animals already this morning. This is the entrance to the nature trail, but also to the garden, and it's the arch under which we were married. So we'll walk down and look at the garden this morning.
They're really chattering up a storm.
Yeah.
They're in there somewhere. Okay.
There's lots of little gardens here, mostly iris, but there's a few other things.
Newly planted iris.
Newly planted iris.
We'll have to film it again in spring when they're blooming.
That's right. And we're not far from the house. You could probably swing around and see the house from here. Well, we'll walk down the rest of the loop of the garden trail. You can see the big nightshade flowers. That's actually a weed, and it's poisonous, but if you ate it. But there's other things, iris. It'll be really pretty in the spring.
Well, Ken's got to change the sign. It was a vegetable garden, but now he'll show you what it is now.
Yeah, the vegetables didn't do too well this year. Not much produce for all the work and all the watering. So I replaced it all and put in iris. And so this is now an iris garden. And a rose bush. There's a few tomatoes, but except for that, it's mostly just irises waiting for the spring. There is the one rose bush that used to be out in front of our house, but the deer kept eating it, so I put it in here. And you can see it's starting to bud. Maybe we'll get some yellow roses on it. And I'll just let Amy go ahead and wander the garden area a little bit. Well, let's walk back up the garden path to the deck. We'll show you our rock garden before we quit.
Through here is a manzanita bush. We have several on the land. The fruit trees.
I saw some deer track on the trail, and you can tell they've been eating on the bottom of the trees some. Even our plum tree.
Plum tree looks like it's doing the best though.
Yeah.
And that one has three kinds of apples. And then an apricot tree. You have some lilacs back there. And a maple tree. And then over this way, what tree is that?
That's a pear.
Pear.
And a peach. And then we've got rocks along the side and in front. The bigger colored rocks we found when we were walking and hiking. And there's one of Amy's dad's car statues is there. I think that's like a crankshaft or something.
Yeah, he made sculptures out of car parts.
And then that's the Amy's granddad's watering can, so we put that in the rock garden.
And these are honeysuckles that are gonna climb up the lattice.
There's a hummingbird in that one. Well, he just flew.
And some of these rocks can hold for like a half a mile on the trails.
Amy calls that the quail house. I call it the quail jail, just because it rhymes. It actually keeps the pigs out.
The
and
javelina.
Quail can get in there. Yeah, the javelina. I call them pigs. The yellow flower is a weed, but it's pretty, so we keep it.
Oh, no. And that's it for the garden path.
Well, turn around and you can see the deck.
Oh, and all our
bush. And the bird bath.
and the bird feeder that needs filling. There, that's better. But this whole area, the wildlife love, and we can sit on our chairs in the living room through those patio doors and just watch all the wildlife out here. Any time of day, any season, they're always out here.
Well, why don't you finish the video just by showing the view? Maybe you can see it.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful view. Probably 360 degrees on top of a hill.